It's really not as difficult as you might think to hit a bunker shot. In fact, you have more lateral margin of error in a bunker than you would on a chip shot. Here are a few quick tips to help you get out of the bunker and get it closer to the pin more often. Since you're not allowed to touch the bunker with your club before your shot, the first thing you can do when you walk into the bunker is to feel how hard or soft, how deep, etc. the sand is. This will give you an idea of what part of your club would be good to use to get out of the bunker. To explain what I mean, take a look at your wedge and notice two parts. The first part is the leading edge of the club face. As you can see, it's got somewhat of a sharp angle. This part of the club is good for naturally digging down in the sand if you have very little sand in the bunker or a relatively hard sand surface. The second part is the bulgy part on the bottom of the club called the bounce. If you open the club face before you swing, the bulgy part of the club will be exposed and make it physically harder for the club to dig down in the sand and will effectively skip across the sand. This part of the club is useful in a bunker if a bunker has a lot of sand and you don't want to dig down too deeply into it. Now that you've determined with your feet what the sand feels like, draw two lines behind the ball. One line is about an inch or so behind the ball and the other is 3 or 4 inches behind that. Center yourself above the two lines, which means that the ball is slightly towards the front of your stance. This is the part where you have the relatively large lateral margin of error that I was talking about. As long as you hit between the two lines, based on the length of backswing that you make, the ball should end up going about the same distance. This is because if you hit closer to the ball, it's going to carry farther but spin a lot and not roll out. And if you hit further back, it won't fly as far, but because it has less spin, it'll end up rolling farther. Keep the club square or open it up a little bit depending on the type of sand. Dig your feet slightly into the sand. You don't have to dig a big hole, just enough to get good footing. This will also lower your center of gravity and make it easier to swing through the sand without changing anything of your swing. Remember, we're going to be hitting the sand first and not the ball. The sand that is deflected from you hitting it effectively will lift the ball out of the bunker. Remain very stable and without too much vertical or lateral movement, make a smooth swing through the sand. Be careful of not getting stuck. Swing through and make sure to skip through the sand between the two lines. As long as you can consistently do this, you can be a good bunker player. Give those things a try, and hopefully with a little practice of hitting between the lines, you'll find yourself not only out of the bunker more often, but also closer to the hole.